This is Ross Harrison, fitness expert for Virtual Fitness Trainer, and today I'm going to show you some ab exercises you can do to help get rid of that lower abdominal pooch or rounding that a lot of people have. Again, I've shown some of the basic exercises on some of the other videos, and these will be somewhat similar in the contraction, but I'm going to show you some ones that are a little bit tougher, so you actually get a little bit more of a stronger contraction and can really target that area. The first thing I should point out, if you do suffer from back pain, and all these exercises might be a little too much and they can put stress on your back if your abs aren't strong enough to give you the support you need. But on the other hand, these are all pretty simple exercises. You don't need any equipment. You can just do them right on the floor. So we'll just get started. And this first one is the easiest of the three. And this is just going to be, well, first I should say, the first two are going to use what I've talked about before, where you're going to tighten your abs and try to flatten your back and push into the ground. So the rule again is, if when you're doing the exercise your back starts coming off the ground or arching, that means the position you're in is too challenging or the exercise is too difficult. And if you can't keep your back flat, then you're not really getting the most out of the exercise. So the first one, just going to lift both legs up and hold it. And essentially, if your legs are straight up, there's not going to be much resistance. And then the further you move your legs away, the tougher it's going to get. And little bits of movement are going to create a big difference. So, you know, if your abs are really strong and the straighter they get, the tougher it's going to be too. But the further you keep them, it gets tougher to keep your back flat. It's also tougher to breathe and talk. So I'm going to bring my legs back a little bit more. But you're going to feel tension here, and just to hold it there as long as you can. If you feel your back starting to arch, bring your legs up a little higher if you want to continue longer. But that's really going to target this area right here. The second exercise is essentially the same, except we're involving movement. So, and on all of these, people want to try to start from the bottom position, but that's the absolute hardest place to be. So always start from this position, because that's where there's the least amount of stress on your body, the least amount of stress on your back, and you can figure out where you should actually be or how low you should go. If you're starting from the bottom, you're already starting from a point where it's really too challenging, so you're going to potentially strain something, put too much stress on a place you don't want to be. So, but again, same thing, and keeping the back flat is again going to be the tough thing. So just going down and up, and that's really the exercise. So again, if you want to make it easier, you can do a similar thing with your knees bent, and the more they're bent, the easier it is. But even with the legs bent, it's still pretty tough if you keep your back flat. Now, if you do it and you're just allowing that to happen, and your back's curving, I'm not really getting very much out of that, and I can potentially strain back muscles or other things. So keep it slow, keep the back flat. That's really going to work well. Try it out and see it works really well. The third exercise is something I've been playing around with for a while, and I call it leg circles. And again, starting up, I usually keep a little bend in the legs, but basically you're just going to try to do some slow circles in the air. And you can just keep going in the same direction. Found a lot of people like it a little better if you just do one circle one way, get to the top, and then switch directions. But again, you can change the difficulty by, if you have a little smaller, higher circle, it's going to be a little easier. You know, if you try to really go out to the side and really start going low, it's going to get tougher. The one difference on this one, your back can come off the ground. It's a tougher exercise, and especially if you're going lower on the circle, your back will come off the ground. But as long as all the muscles are strong enough, you are going to have supporting tension all the way across your lower abdominal region. So it will really tighten everything. But you can definitely go too low. And if you can't control it, like if you feel yourself just sort of swing, or that means it's probably too tough. But if you keep it slow and just, even though your back's not going to be flat, still try to keep it as flat as you can. That's actually one of the keys to really activating that region. So there's 3 exercises, all pretty basic, but actually pretty challenging. So just don't overdo it and try to stay in the range that you can definitely feel the muscles working, but don't feel anything else draining. And you're going to be making some great progress towards really tightening that lower region and getting rid of that pooch. Thanks.